Prosecution proved that Amber Guyger was looking for somebody to kill. She's a so-called badass. She made jokes about the death of Dr. Martin Luther King and the Martin Luther King parade. On top of that, she has posted things on her Facebook page, which in her Instagram or social media in general would make it appear as though she's looking for somebody to kill. That coupled with the fact that when she entered into Botham John's apartment, she saw a black man, and at that point she just, after he said, hey, 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 she shot him. She shot twice. She shot him in the chest, hit him right in the chest, and shot another time right over his head as though once he got shot, he was going down, and so she missed, barely. But the way the prosecution laid out the case was very, as far as why there was intent, because my question was, how can there be an intentional killing if she walks into the house and thinks that this is her house? And the way they laid it out was she had drawn her weapon before she'd even entered into the door. So what that means is she was ignoring the red rug, ignoring all the other signs. She had her mind fixed on killing somebody. She was going to get a free kill. This is the way I see it. She thought, oh my God, there's somebody in my house. This is my opportunity to kill somebody. And this badass with her racist tendencies, when she opened the door with her left hand, had her hand on her pistol on her right, her pistol in her right hand drawn. As soon as she walked in, he said, hey, 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 and she let off shots, bam, bam, and that was it. So she instead of withdrawing, instead of seeking cover, instead of saying, hey, I need backup at apartment such and such here, she entered the dwelling on her own. Cops don't enter dwellings on their own. They always call for backup. So this lets me know she wanted a free shot. She didn't want to do what Dallas police officer protocol required her to do and call for backup and hopefully turn this potentially deadly situation, which actually turned into a deadly situation, into something that could have been avoided. This wasn't her apartment. She overlooked the fact that and see, here's the thing. A lot of you all are saying this is some big conspiracy. They had a relationship. There was no relationship between Amber Guyger and the defendant and the victim. There was no relationship. If it was a relationship, they would have brought that up. There was no relationship. She was just a racist. She had racist tendencies. She was a badass, and she was looking for somebody to kill, and she saw an opportunity. It's almost like it fell in her lap. Somebody's in my house. I get to shoot this person. There are going to be no witnesses, and I get a kill under my belt. She was literally bloodthirsty. This is what this woman was. And when she opened up the door and she saw both and John in there, she shot him because she didn't see an accountant. She didn't see a 26, 27-year-old black man who was loved by his family and respected by his peers at work. She saw a target, and she, in her mind, she'd gone over this all the time, looking for a target, and she found a black man, perfect victim. No witnesses, he's in my apartment, irrespective of everything that was different. And at some point, she realized this wasn't her apartment, I'm sure. But she said, I'll just say I thought it was my apartment and the door was open, and then I'll get away with it. Whether that happened right before or right after, the bottom line is she knew it. But once she committed, once she walked in that door, she knew she was going to kill someone before she walked in that door. That's why she drew her weapon. There's so many other things she could have used. She could have hid. She could have not opened the door, called for backup. She could have pulled out her mace if she wanted to actually enter the place and not kill the person. But she intended to walk in there and kill, so that's where the intent came from. And I know that sounds kind of minuscule for you all, but that was a question that I had. How was the prosecutor going to prove intent when, apparently she was walking in somebody else's house, but it's because she pulled her weapon before she walked in the door. In other words, she had her hand on her gun, left hand on the door, she opened the door, entered into the room, and began to shoot nearly instantaneously. There was no long, drawn-out argument, and the reason I know is because the defense didn't put on anybody to say there was a long, drawn-out argument. All they heard was, hey, hey, hey. That's what all the witnesses said. Hey, 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 ba, ba, ba. And that was both and John saying, hey, hey, hey. And she shot that man. So she deserves the full 99 years. That's what I think. She wanted to kill somebody. She had been apparently looking to kill somebody. She was looking for somebody. That type of person is a danger to the community, and she needs a long time to sit in the penitentiary to realize to get all of that out of her system. The fact that she has admitted racist tendencies, especially towards black people, it just goes to show. Once she saw both in John, he didn't stand a chance. She saw a free victim. She saw an easy kill. She saw a free kill that she could get away from. That's what she saw. Something that she could go later on after this was all over with and brag about. That's the mindset of this people. And you all that are trying to impute on her all this intellect and this logic and this conspiracy, it wasn't that. She was just a cold-hearted killer looking for a victim, and she saw and someone had fell in her lap, and that's it. And there's no really way to get around it. The problem that most of you all have is that you don't believe that there are some people who are just evil, and you don't understand the hearts of men and women. Some people are just evil, and you just have to accept that fact. Instead of trying to say, oh, well, she didn't mean to do it, it's illogical. Some people are just evil. And when you notice you're around people like that, you got to get away from around them. Now, unfortunately, both and John didn't have a choice. The only thing he did wrong was not lock his door. But, I mean, after a long day of work, sometimes I don't lock my door. Sometimes I leave my key in my door by mistake, you know? But it's unfortunate this situation happened. But I'm glad that the jury found her guilty. I'm glad that she's going to go to prison for a long time. I'm glad that that type of person is no longer a member of law enforcement. I think it was a shame that she was ever hired in the first place. I think some of her social media statements should have been warranted her being suspended a long time ago. But it is a tragedy, But I'm glad to see that the tide is changing, and that these police officers are no longer being given um, carte blanche to kill people, innocent people, unarmed people. You walk in a man's house and you shoot him to death while he's eating ice cream on his sofa watching a ball game. If she had been let off, this would have been a tragedy. This tops Trayvon Martin and some of those other cases that I've seen. But irrespective of that, I am glad this is almost over. I'm looking and keeping watch on what happens. I do know a few of the attorneys that have helped on the civil side. I actually went to school with one of them. So congratulations to those fellas who've helped contribute to this woman's prosecution and help get this family justice. I'm proud to see that justice is being served. That we still have to wait to see what her sentence is. I don't think any less than 25 years to life should be. She shouldn't get less than 25 years. Period. She should do 25 years. So we'll see what happens. The other thing is, I'm happy that her attempts to play the victim role, that i.e. believe her nonsense that arose as a result of that Me Too witch hunt. I'm glad that that victim role that she played failed in front of the jury. The only victim here is both and John. Amber Guyger is a cold-hearted criminal, a cold-hearted killer. By her own actions, by her own previous statements, we understand her mindset. She was looking for a target. She had been itching to shoot somebody. She'd been itching for blood, and she found an easy, free target. And once she committed, she followed through her plan, even though she, of course, realized this wasn't her apartment. So that's where we are with this case. Accept the fact that there are evil people in the world, and Amber Guyger is simply just one of them. But she's not the only one. There are others. So protect yourself. Um, Stay prayerful. Whatever spiritual blessings you ask for from whichever God you pray to or non-God you pray to, keep that with you at all times, because this is a treacherous world we live in. You all have a blessed day. I love you all. I appreciate the time you've taken to listen to this. I look forward to the comments. Any facts that you may want to add on to it, I look forward to hearing it. But I'm happy that Bolton John's family has justice. You all be blessed. Have a wonderful day.